So in this lesson we are gonna learn Officially Missing You by Tamia. This is going to be a bit more than just a guitar tutorial. We are gonna look into a few embellishments, we are gonna see how we can arrange it on guitar, and we are gonna understand the music theory behind all of these chords. Now, this lesson is not going to be for the more beginner of you, but I would still suggest to stick around and follow the lesson anyway. And if you guys would like me to make a more beginner version of this song, just let me know in the comments below. Now, the main riff, guys, that you hear in the intro and in the verse of the song can be played in several ways. We are gonna look into the way I was playing at the beginning of this video, which combines a few finger picking techniques and a few percussions as well. And guys, stick around for the entire lesson, because in the second part of this lesson I'm going to show you a couple of very interesting alternative voicings and embellishments, and also I'm gonna explain the full music theory of this chord progression. So the riff opens with a G major 7. Okay, which is the chord that feels like home, and we are in the key of G major, although many of the chords don't actually belong to the key of G major, and that's why we need to understand the music theory behind this amazing chord progression. Now, I play the G major 7 this way. So I first separate the bass and the upper part of the chord, then I play a percussion, and I finally pluck all of the 4 strings simultaneously. Then there's going to be another percussion on 4. You can either go in a very simple way, just, or you can add a more slapping strum like I was doing before. And before you do that, you've got enough time to repeat the bass note if you like. And now we're ready to move to the second chord, which is an F sharp minor 7. I played with the thumb here, but feel free to play it this way or this way. It's completely up to you, whatever fingering you find comfortable. And after this, we are heading to a B7, which we play in a classic way, A-shaped bar chord this way. But I like to do a hammer on with my pinky, which is very typical of R&B and neo-soul acoustic guitar. And then if you want to keep the same groove, you can repeat the bass note and again slap and strum simultaneously, or simply play a percussion depending on your level. And after the B7 we go to an E minor 7 bar chord, where I like to play this embellishment. Which is a typical hammer-on pull-off with a pinky on the first string, and then you move to the second string. And guys, if you want to see note by note all this transcribed, you can head to my Patreon page, where you can get not just a PDF of this transcription, but also a guitar profile, which allows you to practice and hear my transcription note by note. Everything is available at the link in the description below, and the good news is that by becoming a patron, you now get access to my R&B and neo-soul acoustic guitar course, which obviously explains all of these chords, the music theory behind it, and all of the techniques that you guys may want to master to play this genre. Okay, so just check everything at the link in the description below, and thanks a lot for your support. Now, is this embellishment in the recording? No, it's just something that you guys can add to spice things up here and there and keep practicing your embellishments. Then there is going to be a D minor 9 to a G13. This is a classic 2-5 in C major, which we practiced a lot in other lessons on the channel, and it's something that you actually find as an entire lesson on my R&B and neo-soul guitar course. We go from this D minor 9, G13, which obviously are 2 chords that share the top note E, to a C major 7. That's why it's a 2-5-1 in C major. Okay. Then we head to a B minor 7, which looks the same as the E minor 7 really. And we slide to that E minor 7 from B minor 7, so we go. I wouldn't suggest to repeat the same hammer on the second time that you play the E minor 7. And then the last 2 chords. An A minor 7, which I like to play this way, but like we said for the F sharp minor 7, feel free to play in other positions or fingerings as well. And then a D9 sus4, which is nothing but a C chord with the note D in the bass. And I like to play it this way, with my thumb playing the note D, but you may want to also try this fingering if you find it more comfortable. Now, on this final chord we play a specific rhythm, which is the separation again of bass and upper part of the chord, and one final pluck, long pluck of this chord. Ready to start again. So let's hear it all together, nice and slow. Now, like we said at the beginning, this chord progression can be played in several ways, and this is just one way of playing it, but I would like to cover a couple of other positions that you guys may want to try and experiment with when you practice this chord progression. For example, when you start, you keep it the same way. On this B7 there is already an embellishment by hammering on the pinky. Now we go here, where there is another hammer-on, pull-off embellishment with the pinky, and then the 2-5 in C major. Now, when you play this D minor 9 and you go to the G13, you may want to apply the neo-soul move, which consists in playing the D minor 9 and then play this other version of the D minor 9, which can also be seen as a G13 effectively, because the top note, E, it's something that you touch here, and you can think of this G7 type of shape like the B7 that you were playing here, and you're just playing a variation, an embellishment, I would say, around the G13 played this way, G9, 13 really. And then you carry on with your C major 7, B minor 7, E minor 7, A minor 7, and then instead of going here for the D9 sus4, you can actually play the D9 sus4 here on fret 5, just moving from this A minor 7 to just a one finger position using a bar. Okay. Now guys, if you'd like me to cover the second part of the song, which consists in a few variations and a bridge, just let me know in the comments below and I can make a second part of this lesson if you guys enjoyed it. And now we're ready to cover the music theory. We did say that we are in the key of G major. We start with a G major 7, but then as soon as we go to the F sharp minor 7, we're like, this chord doesn't really belong to the key of G major. It should be an F sharp minor 7 flat 5 in the key of G major. So what we do really is a 2-5 to head to E minor. E minor does belong to G major. It's the 6 minor chord. And the way we get to that E minor 6 minor chord is by creating a 2-5 for that chord, which is going to be the F sharp minor 7, the 2 of the 6, and the B7, which is the 5 of the 6, okay? Obviously, guys, B7 as well as F sharp minor 7 doesn't belong to the key of G major. And then once you reach that E minor 7, 6 minor, you create a 2-5 in C major, but not because we are in C major, simply because we want to play the C major 7, which is the 4 chord in the key of G major. And in order to introduce that, exactly like we did for the E minor 7, we create a 2-5 to C major 7, which is going to be the D minor 7, D minor 9, G7 or G13. Okay, 2 of the 4 and 5 of the 4. And then after that C major 7, which is the 4, we go to the 3 minor 7, which is B minor 7, which now does belong to G major, and back to E minor 7, 6, minor 7 in the key of G major. And then finally a 2-5, an actual 2-5 in G major, A minor 7, 2 minor 7, right? And then D9 sus4, which is the 5-7 to G major. So we start with the tonic chord and we finish with a 2-5 in G major. But in order to get there, we actually first touch on the E minor 7 and the C major 7, which are both introduced by a 2-5 to that chord. Hopefully this makes sense, guys, but as always, the full transcription with all of the arpeggios and techniques that I played and the full harmonic analysis with chord degrees is going to be on my Patreon page. Just head to the link in the description below to join my Patreon. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.